All right, hello everyone. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Sorry about that. I think there was a bit of a delay on getting the feed out today. Sorry about that. It's been a couple days. I'm still learning. Baby steps. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Let's see. There's my name in case you want to know. I forgot. Hopefully you didn't forget. Welcome to Storm Talk. It's a bit of a delay again. I'm getting some of the signal out today, so we'll wait for a second for everyone to get logged on. But want to update you guys, obviously, on the rain setup and what is ahead of us on the storm threat for later tonight into your Thursday, and share with you guys some better news as we head down the road. Real quick before we get to that, of course, wanted to mention about the eclipse because I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys since the eclipse really took place. First off, let me know if you went type 1 or saw it in any fashion, type 1. If you were in totality, type 2. Type 2 if you were in totality, type 1 if you went at all. And the reason why I mention that is this is my shot that I took of totality. This is when Kevin and I were on the air at this exact moment, and I was trying to hurry up and grab my phone to be able to show this, but this is that 360 sunrise that we always talk about. I didn't get a chance to turn all the way around, but you get the idea. I mean, the shadow was right over us there into Seymour, and then you've got the sunrise in the distance. You got the small cumulus clouds on the horizon. If you look carefully, all the lights that were found there at the Seymour Airport, all the light systems all kicked on as well automatically while we were in that shadow, dropped down into the 60s for a while, and then once the shadow passed by, we resume back to the full sunny and very warm setup once again there. So it was pretty wild. So thanks for everyone that said hello. Pam, how are you doing? I didn't get a chance to see everyone I wanted to talk to. There were so many people that were really especially excited about the telescope and solar scopes that were set up from Mark Stephen Williams, which, by the way, he's I'm sure if you guys are watching the coverage, you saw him. He's such a nice guy. I've known him for years, and he is so knowledgeable, especially when you deal with astronomy. And he's like our own brainiac when it comes to learning about astronomy and the cool little facts that we don't have a chance to always get into. I mean, my passion is meteorology, but I love astronomy as well. I just don't know a lot about it, but I know enough to get excited about it and talk about it. But boy, Mark knows a lot, and he was such a blast to talk to. So anytime he does a talk, I highly encourage you guys to ever go and check him out. I think it's Stargazer, and it's spelled the way you think it's spelled, by the way it sounds, Stargazer on Facebook. So make sure to check it out. Okay, so there's the eclipse. Everyone knows it happened, so I won't talk too much about it because I feel like we've been eclipsed like crazy lately. Don't you feel that way? It's been a lot. So let's get into our rest of our weather elements, and that is, of course, this is nice too, though. This is just as pretty as an eclipse. Lovely gray skies with showers passing through. It's been kind of a messy setup on the morning drive. No one really was having serious crashes or anything. Everyone's just going very, very slow, so it added a good 10 to 15 minutes to your morning commute. We will get some breaks in here today, but we will have more of these spotty showers passing through. We're in the 50s. We really haven't moved a whole lot on the thermometer. We're not going to move a ton unless we get a few sun breaks or the clouds try to thin. That's about the only way you'll gain some digits. Otherwise, pretty much status quo on the numbers outside. Rainfall amounts have been underperforming, I think, compared to what we've witnessed in some of the modeling on some of these rain bands, but still areas in the darker green for the past couple of days, really since we got into eclipse day. Some of these rain showers are forming later in the afternoon until now. Anywhere you see dark greens, at least an inch of rain on radar estimates, and you get the yellow estimated a little over 2 inches just west of E-Town. And Louisville's been split. Southern Jefferson County certainly has way more than a half inch of rain the past couple of days compared to the northern part of Jefferson County. And Indiana has seen absolutely the least amount of rainfall so far out of this entire setup. But everyone's gotten something. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. Looks like maybe just northeast of Madison. Maybe you guys have been skipped altogether on some of those showers. All right. Well, you're about to catch up, it looks like, northeast Jefferson, because the rain band currently moving through Louisville is heading to the north. Here in Louisville, it is going to shut off here for late morning and lunch. And we'll see if anything else, we'll try to fill in this gap to the south and build back north again. Otherwise, it will be very much more off and on than we've had this morning compared to that steady blob that has been moving through the area. You can see some of the camera feeds. This is at I-65 southbound. Again, it doesn't look too bad. Just kind of a messy drive there for this morning. All right, let's get you to the live look here. Hold on one second. Sure. Okay, good. Here's the radar view showing the showers moving across our region. These have been more of the off and on bands moving through. And then you get into the actual circulation of the low. And boy, look at this powerful line of thunderstorms raking across Louisiana at this very moment into southern areas of Mississippi. Let me show you the close radar view. Look at that Boeing segment. This is a straight line wind threat more than anything, but you can get a few spin up tornadoes on the leading edge heading toward Baton Rouge at the moment. In fact, we may have, let me see if I can pull this up. Bear with me for a second. And I may be able to show you guys. It looks like their streaming is on right now in that area. They have their own version of a 24-hour weather channel that is running there as well. Oops, I got an ad. We'll see if that passes by. Hold on one second. But I'll try to show you the feed there into the Baton Rouge right now, where, again, they've gotten several strong, impressive clusters of thunderstorms rolling through the area. So that Boeing segment, again, you're going to get winds easily go over 70, 75 miles per hour in that kind of a setup as those showers and thunderstorms are aiming just north of New Orleans and into southern areas of Louisiana or into Mississippi at the moment. What a mess, though. A pouring amount of rainfall moving through that area at the moment, producing intense lightning, heavy rainfall, several severe thunderstorm warnings. I did see a couple of tornado warnings, which is probably why they're not right now streaming in that area. But no doubt that was a big issue this morning, was going to be the chance to get some of those cells that could rotate around the area. Okay, it looks like they're still on a long commercial break. So I'm just going to get past that. We'll just move on, right? So they're not in a tornado. Well, the new tornado warning just now pops, and they may jump back on. I'll watch it. If they jump back on, I'll let you know. But either way, you guys get the idea what's happening down there into portions of Louisiana. But that is going to be a big weather story, guys. I mean, huge. As far as heavy rain and flooding, an area that dealt with the drought for so long. I mean, this area, Louisiana, Mississippi, is going to be dealing with just so much rainfall. I mean, it's good that Mississippi has been making headlines the past couple of summers where it's been record low levels. This will make some ground for it to try at least get these levels up a bit more, even though it is flowing out to the Gulf of Mexico. So we need a more up to the north and Midwest. That would help out just a bit more. But either way, what we're going to be watching as that severe weather threat is pretty intense. They got a moderate risk out there. We had that, of course, for our storms last week, and they're under the moderate risk there, not exact spots in Louisiana into Mississippi, a small part of Alabama as well. Notice we do have the marginal risk goes into southern Kentucky. I'll explain why that's the case coming up in a second. And then we get into tomorrow. The split happens where your majority of your moisture and thunderstorm complex is going to aim into the Carolinas. And then you got the actual low itself that is going to be moving nearly north, slightly north to northeast into the Ohio River Valley. And if there's any sun breaks, which our signs there will be, that should be enough to allow for at least some strong thunderstorms to fire on its track through the Ohio River Valley. But timing is on our side. This system is going to arrive near this time tomorrow and should be out of our hair by 2 o'clock as far as any type of severe threat. So they will get into more of the max heating of the day. That roughly 12 to 6 p.m. window is where the yellow, the slight risk will be. And that's the reason why it's more for an issue of Lexington and I-75 in East Kentucky and Ohio, more so than it is back toward Louisville and I-65. So not a huge concern. That's why we don't have the alert day out, as we think it's going to be a relatively short-lived threat potential on this. Here is Futurecasts for the rest of the afternoon. You can see the current rain bands, again, moving to the north. We get into tonight. There's actually a decent gap that forms tonight. We may go several hours without any rainfall at all into wave country as we head into the day or into the overnight hours tonight and early tomorrow. So not much happening for tonight. But once we get closer to sunrise tomorrow in the morning commute, that is when the curl portion of that low will begin to send up its first round of showers and storms. And I got the red painted to indicate where the fuel will be. And you can start to see some lightning and thunder as we get to about 2:30 in the morning. Still fairly quiet, but it starts to get a little more noisy at around 8 o'clock in the morning. And we've got some fuel being added into the mix. So this is where you can get some stronger thunderstorms. The outlook that you saw there for southern Kentucky expires at 7 a.m. And then the new outlook that was Kentucky into Lexington, that takes over for the rest of the day after 7 a.m. So we're in between two different outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. Either way, both of them are low end. First window, I think it will be tomorrow morning, just around sunrise. Some of these storms could have some gusty winds. Hail, I think it's going to be a little more common, but just mainly heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning taking place. The reason why this is not a bigger ordeal for what it could be is that the very strong jet, the nocturnal jet itself, is actually over here at this point at 8 o'clock in the morning, not over where the fuel is and the thunderstorms. So they're not overlapped. So because of that, you don't have a huge severe threat in our zone. But as I animate this, and I'll keep that zone listed, as we get into the afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, the wind fields will be generally in place for those cells when they move into it, to where, yeah, that's the reason why they got the slight risk. Now they overlap a bit more here, and obviously we do not here locally. So I think 8 to 9 a.m. to about 1 or 2 p.m., that's the window. We just need to be weather aware of a few storms that may roll on by that could contain some stronger thunderstorms. Not going to rule it out. Your severe risk overall, though, is going to be quite low with this setup, which is certainly some good news. Okay, let me get to the second part of the system, and that'll be tomorrow afternoon. After we get past that 2 p.m. severe risk chance, then we get into a falling temperature scenario. No, it's not going to snow, but we do have some falling temps, strong winds. In fact, the strongest of the winds of this entire system are not ahead of it, not on the warm side. They're on the colder side, the back side of the system. So you'll know when the front has moved in. You'll know that severe threat is ended for your area when the wind gets strong outside from the northwest. That's a colder wind. We may even drop into the 40s before we get into the morning or the afternoon commute tomorrow. It's possible. We could be near 70 and then drop into the 40s with strong winds over 35 miles per hour. It's going to make it feel chilly, and with light rain, it's going to be one of those Thursday afternoons, guys, where you just want to go take a nap and get home and rest up. That's the way it's looking. But it is going to be kind of a blustery tomorrow afternoon setup. It moves on by. We're done with the rain chance overall on Friday, except for one little spoke that wants to try to swing down and wrap around the low and move in around 11 a.m. or so tomorrow. Some of the models take the low far enough to the north and east in its journey to where when this low does pinwheel around, it pinwheels around toward, say, Cincinnati and leaves us alone, and we don't get any more rain out of it. So the likely truth is somewhere in between all of that. So we will account for at least a brief period of showers as it moves to the area, and then we're done. It's interesting that at the very end of the frame here, you see that it does try to form a little bit of instability. That's because some clouds may form if we clear out tomorrow afternoon or Friday. We may get a few clouds, but Friday won't be bad. It will be a windy day, 50s, maybe even touching 60 or so here in Louisville. But with that wind, that colder wind flowing in, it won't feel very warm, but it will be a pretty day. So that's good. We'll take that. And that sets the stage for us to have a really nice weekend. Saturday especially will be in the 70s. Sunday, I don't know if we'll get a cloud in the sky on Saturday. So Saturday, everyone's going to have a chance to catch up on the mowing and get that knocked out. We get into Sunday. You don't, I won't pass it fast, but there is a very small chance for a few showers that may dive in Sunday afternoon with a wave passing through Ohio. I don't think it's anything to worry about right now. I know that you're trying to figure out, especially if you're trying to treat your yard and get everything ready for the spring season, your gardeners out there, and you are needing periods of time where it's not going to rain. We get into Friday overall, that improves. Saturday for sure dry. Sunday, there is that small rain chance on Sunday. Just want to make sure you're aware of that. Otherwise, we should be able to get out of that until we get into next week. And this gets really messy here next week, guys. It's a front that gets draped out across the Ohio Valley and down into Texas and gets stuck. So there could be just multiple waves of showers and storms that may form along it. And I don't think this is going to be an all-day rain scenario. I think it's just the afternoon periods when we get some heating. We could run the risk for a few scattered afternoon storms on a daily basis. And one or two could easily be strong. I'm not going to rule that out. It really will not change until some other low pressure comes on and attaches to the front, grabs it, and then moves it out of the way. Well, why is that important? Well, for those of you that are getting ready to go see thunder over Louisville on the 20th, this is important. You need something to grab that front and push it to the south, or you'll end up with a stormy scenario for thunder. So far, just about every piece of modeling I've looked at does take the front and the rain bands and push them out the night before thunder and tries to clear it out. So the Great Lawn likely will be wet, if not muddy, but at least we'll be able to get into a drier scenario for thunder if this holds. And it will be a bit cooler, I would say 50s and 60s, probably 60s, and maybe a little bit of a wind outside. I think it'll look better than what it did last year. But if this front does not get a friend to grab a hold of it and pull it down to the south, then this front will linger into the 20th as well, keeping the thunderstorm chance at risk there. It's still a long way off, so I could flip a coin and probably be just as accurate. But I just want to let you guys know that's the challenge. That's the player on the field that we're watching, and we'll just see how that evolves. All right, there you go. I've rambled a lot. Any questions I can get to? Rebecca, any tornadoes for Thursday? The tornado potential, it's not zero, but it's overall, we don't have a lot of fuel lined up with the wind fields to allow for all that twisty motion to get into a tornado setup. A little more of an issue in Eastern Kentucky into West Virginia and Ohio. We have several things that are missing on Thursday, and that's why, again, we do not have the alert day out, as we just don't feel that with everything not lining up for a more impressive event, we do not see it being a significant issue. There is always a chance of an isolated, brief type of setup with a tornado, but it's not a high chance and nothing like what we just went through. So I hope that helps somewhat there. We'll know more once we get into that morning to know where the wind fields are lining up, but overall, I think we're good. James, I saw missed the part about the severe weather part. Can you go over that again? Yes, the severe weather parts that I believe you're referring to for early Thursday morning, tomorrow morning. It'll be late tonight, early in the morning tomorrow. This is when we enter that zone. I mean, roughly about 8 o'clock. Some of the cells that form out of Tennessee and move into southern Kentucky, that's when we need to watch it. So 7, 8 o'clock, anything that moves in at that point can produce a warning, mainly for a damaging wind case and hail. Otherwise, these will be noisy. A lot of lightning, very heavy rainfall. Again, your tornado threat is not very high, but it's not zero. Becomes a little more pronounced, though, when the cells get into Ohio. Once they move into Ohio, I'll kind of loop it back and forth here. When they move out of Eastern Kentucky and push into Ohio, that is when you're going to get into at least an isolated tornado threat that will start to ramp up. Our severe window is roughly 8 to 2 p.m., and I may be able to shorten that even more. So very narrow window and nothing major. So that's good. David Jean, 1 out of 5 risk. 1 out of 5 is good. Yeah, I think the slight risk is placed well, and I know it does include some of our counties. I just think it's more, if you want the overall storyline and theme here, it is east more than it is west. Especially around Nicholsville, Kentucky. Ralph, yeah, you'll be very much in that zone where a few of those storms could get strong there. Not get notifications again. Are you talking about Facebook? If you're talking about Facebook, Facebook was doing something weird today. And I mentioned at the very beginning of the video. So I think it's something about today, something was weird. So if it's just Facebook, that's it. But reminder, on the Wave Weather app, or even the news app, but certainly the Wave Weather app, it's always going to notify you every time. And get that notification, and then you can go to social media and you'll see us there. So I wouldn't just rely on the Facebook notifications for us to be live. The app is first. And if we're in an alert day scenario, as soon as I touch the button, you are notified. On a normal day, there's a bit of a slowness to it because it's not urgent, because there's so many things coming out of our station and other stations that we have in our group. But whenever there's an alert day and severe weather urgent scenario, we have a separate setup where when we hit that button, it, boom, it gets to you guys immediately. So on those days, you'll know when it's right away. But rely on the app, because I'm telling you, the app is so fast in getting it to you guys. More rain on Friday. Brief window for showers at like 11 a.m. Otherwise, no. And my last question here from Tammy, about 6 a.m. in the morning. Yep, showers, maybe rumble, thunder. It'll be blotchy, Tammy. It won't be a big wall of rain, but it will be blotchy with some heavier bands moving in. So we are going to get a break. Much of the overnight, again, looks fairly quiet. It's near sunrise. We ramp back up. Look to the south on the radar. When you look at it on the Wave Weather app, look to the south. That's feeding northbound. And then we'll deal with a feed of showers and storms heading up 65. And then the front itself and the low will push all of that quickly to I-75 and get it out of here by the time we get into the lunch hour. All right, guys, I'm going to end it there for now. And I will get everything ready for midday. And I will catch you guys coming up on the flip side. If you have any questions, I'll try to go back and answer some of those. Otherwise, I think we're in good shape here for the day today. So stay tuned. We'll have more on midday. And, of course, this afternoon on all of our newscasts starting at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Oh, let's face it, we're 24 hours.